Breaking news, guys. In the case Jehovah's Witnesses versus the state of Norway, we have a verdict. Jehovah's Witnesses lost. The state won. More to come. Stay tuned. This is the tweet that I just saw on my timeline, posted 3 hours ago. I am so happy, so shocked that I was like, oh my God, we need to talk about this. Okay, so this is the article translated into English. Title says Jehovah's Witnesses lost to state don't recoup state aid. Jehovah's Witnesses do not receive the state subsidy back. The decisions to deny support to the religious community are known to be valid, and the state is acquitted in a recent judgment in Oslo District Court. According to the ruling, the exclusion practices, which is disfellowshipping, of Jehovah's Witnesses constitute, quote, serious violations of the rights and freedoms of others, Dagan wrote Monday afternoon. The trial went before Oslo District Court in January, and now the district court has concluded that the state is acquitted. At the same time, Jehovah's Witnesses are ordered to pay legal costs of just over 1.1 million. Jehovah's Witnesses filed a lawsuit against the state Norway after being deprived of the right to state subsidies and registration as a religious community, writes Vartland. Last year, it became known that the religious community will lose both the state subsidy for 2021 and its registration as a religious community. Jehovah's Witnesses disagree with the decision and have filed a lawsuit against the state. The decision has also been upheld for the refusals of state aid in 2022 and 2023. The claim for repayment of a total grant of Rs 35 crore was also rejected by the court. The reason for the revocation of the state grant is that the Ministry of Children and Family Affairs and the county governor believe that the exclusion practices of Jehovah's Witnesses entail negative social control and prevent free withdrawal from the religious community. Through the exclusion policy and practice, Jehovah's Witnesses encourage them to shun members who are ostracized or resigned, so that with few exemptions, they are subjected to social isolation from those remaining in the religious community, concludes Judge Ole Kristin Overberg. Thank you, Norway. This is such a huge thing for us in the exjw community. For me personally, this is like finally somebody validated everything that we've been talking about. And in the best possible scenario, this is a judge, this is a court setting, this is real, this is documented, this is something that we can all look to, point in case that Norway did it, other countries can do it too, and we should have been done this. How many people have had negative side effects to the shunning policy? I want to go to this article in avoidjw.org, which gives us a recap just to give you the point of view of the governing body. This is how they have been reporting the news about Norway.
Recently, the government of Norway decided that Jehovah's Witnesses would no longer receive certain state benefits that are provided to all registered religions. Here to explain more about this is Brother Jørgen Pedersen.
We were shocked when we received a letter from government authorities in Oslo, Norway, threatening to remove our registration as a religious community. Jehovah's Witnesses have been actively preaching the good news in Norway for more than 120 years.
Do you guys hear this sad music already playing? They really want you to feel bad.
In fact, Jehovah's Witnesses suffered for their faith under the Nazi occupation of Norway during World War II. Commenting on how Jehovah's Witnesses were the only religious group who stood firm against the Nazis, a previous minister for religion exclaimed, "People throughout the country should know about this. Especially young ones would benefit from this information."
Yeah, young ones, you need to do your research and find out that back in the day, Watchtower president or governing body sent a letter to Hitler trying to get on his good side so that he doesn't persecute Jehovah's Witnesses. And when he threw them in the camps anyways, then they wanted to change their tune and then they went against Hitler's policy at the time. But if we don't know about that letter, if you never learned about that thing with Hitler, you wouldn't even know. You would believe what this guy is telling you.
We've always been known as good citizens. In fact, a public report stated that Jehovah's Witnesses are careful to obey the laws of the land. Now they've suspended our grants, while there are over 700 religious communities who continue to receive such state benefits. This decision is unconstitutional and an unprecedented attack on religious freedom in Norway.
Except Jehovah's Witnesses violate that because they don't even respect our freedom of religion. When we don't want to become Jehovah's Witnesses anymore and we go to another church, all of a sudden we're apostates. You want to talk about what's constitutional? You want to talk about freedom of religion? Okay, let's talk about it. You guys don't even respect the basic human right in America. So why are you trying to fight in other countries for something that you don't even give your own members? You don't even give that privilege. You don't even exercise that freedom in America. And now you want to blame and drag Norway for what they're doing because they're holding you accountable for violating human rights?
With the assistance of the newly established Freedom of Worship Office, we're pursuing legal remedies. At the same time, we're pursuing dialogue with government officials, and we pray that this situation will be amicably resolved.
I think that they are going to regret that. And I think they will change because so many people have committed suicide over this. It has hindered and broken up so many families. And Norway seems like the first country to actually step up and say that these practices are harmful to children, especially because a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses want to pressure their kids to get baptized, have the whole family getting baptized. But then when the child grows up and starts having their own critical thinking skills, they shun them. So I am so happy that Norway is taking the lead on this, and I wish that we could do the same thing in America. I want to read actually what are these grants for on avoidjw.org. This is the grants that Jehovah's Witnesses are fighting for. They are fighting for Satan's money. Okay. So, what do Jehovah's Witnesses use the grants for? The Norwegian government provides grants to all religions in Norway that comply with the Religious and Communities Act. Grants are provided based on the number of members the religious group has. As there are about 12,000 Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway, the grant is worth about US $1.5 million each year. In Norway, religion is seen as a positive influence on its citizens. Therefore, the purpose of the grant is to help religions finance their efforts to provide a benefit to society in general. It is not intended to be acquired and distributed to religious efforts outside of Norway. However, when one analyzes the financial annual reports for Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway, much more money is leaving Norway than it is given in grants. If you look at the accounts for 2021, for example, and looked for quote financial support for the business in other countries, you'll notice that more than 104 million NOK, which is US $10.5 million, is sent overseas. The financial records show that Jehovah's Witnesses do not use the money for Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway. Instead, the Norwegian government is helping finance Jehovah's Witnesses' international efforts. So, why has Norway suspended grants to Jehovah's Witnesses? A new law entitled the Religious Communities Act came into effect on January 1st, 2021. This law outlines the conditions that religions must meet to register as a religion and receive grants. It also specifies several grounds for when the state can refuse state subsidies. The new law clearly states that the use of violence, coercion, threats, violation of children's rights, or the serious violation of the rights of others may lead to a grant being reduced or denied entirely. Broadly speaking, the law is there to ensure resources are used to achieve socially beneficial purposes. In its decision, the Norwegian government pointed out that Jehovah's Witness publications make it clear that members are not to have contact with expelled members. It claimed that such a practice pressurizes members to remain in the group. The information contained therein indicates that shunning involves a strict form of negative social control and psychological violence. Furthermore, the shunning affects not just adults but also children under the age of 18 who have been baptized and subsequently disfellowshipped. This is an alarming revelation for the government of Norway. It is for these reasons Norway has suspended grants to Jehovah's Witnesses. And when you do look at the testimony of all of the ex Jehovah's Witnesses that have been brave and courageous to stand up there and tell the world, tell the government, tell all of us how these shunning policies have affected their lives personally, as we all do, on YouTube and everything. But this was their moment to actually say it in an official setting, under oath. They described it exactly what we have been talking about. These are not our opinions. These are the experiences that we have gone through. And everybody, Jehovah's Witnesses want to make it seem like, oh, these are just angry members who just disagree with the way we do things. And this is just their opinions. No, these ex Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway stood up there and told the world how shunning has destroyed their lives and has divided their family forever, possibly forever. And as we in the HW community can all relate to them, we are so happy that they participated in this, that they were brave enough to do it, because we finally got a victory in Norway. I'm going to include all of these links in the description so that you can read it for yourself. You can see how Jehovah's Witnesses continue to fight for Satan's money. They take these grants from these countries and they are taking the money out of those countries. They are sending it straight to Brooklyn, New York, or straight to Bethel, straight to Watchtower to settle all of these lawsuits that they are having to deal with. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. All right, I'll catch you in the next video.